In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to counter Kashtira. Here we go. What's up guys, Hotshotfrontier back at it again with another video, and in this video guys, I'm going to show you how to counter Kashtira. So guys, you probably clicked this video for one of three reasons, right? One, you lost against the deck and you're tired of losing, so you want to figure out how to counteract them. Two, you haven't versed the deck yet, but you're trying to upgrade your knowledge so you don't lose. Three, you're a cash player and you're trying to see what people are using to beat you. All three are acceptable. Let me show you guys what cards can beat Kashtira. But guys, before I show you what cards to beat them, I have to explain to you what is Kashtira if you may not know. So this is an archetype that is primarily made of level 7 psychic monsters, and what they do is they banish cards face down. Now their main goal is to summon out a monster called Kashtira Shangri-La, and what that card does is every time a card is banished, it goes ahead and locks down a zone. A main monster zone, a spell and trap card zone, either zone, until you have like no zones left. And the deck is just very brutal and it prevents you from playing, right? Fortunately, the deck produces actually no negates, so there are a lot of cards that can go ahead and get rid of their monsters and allow you to play and regain control of the game. So you guys know that Photon Hypernova came out pretty recently, and it gave them a monster called Kashtira Arise Heart, which is 3000 attack, and it's able to be XYZ summoned once per turn using any Kashtira monster on the field as long as Shangri-La has activated its effect, and it's able to force cards to their graveyard. It's like a macrocosmos, which is insane. Plus, it grants itself more materials to use 3 materials and banish any card on the field face down, further activating Shangri-La. It's a crazy deck, but guys, I'm going to show you ways to beat it. Let's go ahead into the first card. So guys, we have cheap encounters. So cheap counters are basically cards that are under $10. I'm going to show you guys the over $10 cards you have, the options you have after we get past the cheap counters. But here we go with the first one. We have Book of Eclipse. If you guys do not know what Book of Eclipse does, it changes all monsters on your opponent's field to face down. Think of it as like you're playing, let's say they have 3 monsters, you're playing 3 Book of Moons in a row. It's a really good card. The only downside is if you don't get rid of your opponent's monsters at the end phase, they flip up and your opponent draws a card per monster flip back up. So what you want to do with this card is play it and then get rid of their cards by destruction means or just by battle phase, right? This card I found lowest copy, 25 cents from the Spirit Charmer's structure deck as a common. Not bad, I would really consider it. Moving on, we have Book of Lunar Eclipse. This came out originally from Lightning Overdrive as a secret rare. It was hyped up in the beginning, but sort of lost popularity because this requires you to use 2 monsters to target 2 monsters, whereas Book of Moon targets 1, and sometimes you really just need that 1. Plus, you can't turn Link monsters face down, so it kind of fell out of popularity. But if you're max 3 on Book of Eclipse, you could play 1 or 2 Lunar Eclipses out as well. And coming at 49 cents from Tin of the Pharaoh's Gods, you can't go wrong with that, honestly. As a super rare too, from the Mega Sense, so you can't go wrong. But moving on, we have Swords of Concealing Light. You guys remember Swords of Revealing Light? This is like the opposite effect. Instead of 3 turns, it lasts for 2 turns. But when it's activated, all your opponent's monsters go face down, which is really good. The thing I don't like about this is that it can be easily targeted, which would suck. But there are other options you can kind of combine it with to strengthen its effect. But moving on, we have Raigeki, a really good card. I was actually surprised, lowest copy on TCG Player for Raigeki. Guess what? $3.20. Crazy. It's a good card, always underrated. I was actually really happy when it got back to 3, but it destroys all monsters your opponent controls. You can't go wrong with that. And it came out of Maximum Gold, El Dorado, the lowest copy. Premium Gold Rare. I know people aren't going to like that, but they can still get another copy from another set that's not El Dorado for probably like $350, $360. Not bad, right? But moving on, we have Dark Hole. If you're playing Tier Elements, Dark Hole is really good because it destroys their monsters and yours, and you get your effects. If you're playing a deck that actually benefits from getting your cards to the graveyard, you might want to consider Dark Hole. It's a really good Yu-Gi-Oh card. The cheapest I found, 40 cents from Star Deck Kaiba Reloaded as a common. Not bad, but there are a lot of premiums in this card, so you don't have to worry about having trouble finding a cheap copy. Moving on, we have Nibiru the Primal Being. This card basically says no to your opponent's combo. brings them all to grave, gives your opponent a fat token, and you get this card. Really good Yu-Gi-Oh card. Lowest copy is $4 because it has a few printings, but again, it's a very good Yu-Gi-Oh card and it's a unique effect, so that's why it is like that. Lowest copy as an ultra rare from 2022 Mega Tin of the Pharaoh's Gods. Not bad, guys. I would consider getting a playset soon. We have Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries as another card. This card, you can go ahead and to add a Shangri-La or a Rise Heart to your extra deck. Activate this card, discarding that. Look at your opponent's whole extra deck. Take that out and gain a lot of advantage. They can't lock your field or use Shangri-La to take one of your cards and put it as material. So just consider doing that. It's really good. 20 cents coming from the 2022 Tin of the Pharaoh's Gods is a super rare. Not bad, guys. I would highly consider it. Moving on, guys, we have Lava Golem. So guys, if you don't know what Lava Golem does, it's great for a lot of reasons. One, you tribute 2 monsters your opponent controls. It uses your normal summon, but it gets rid of 2 monsters your opponent controls, which is really great. And 2, it can burn your opponent for 1k, which is really good. In my opinion, at least. I think that it's worth the price. It's $6.90 lowest for a structure deck Showdown copy common, but again, guys, it's really it's a really good board breaker for you to use. I think it's worth it. It could actually go up even more. So I would highly recommend you go and buy one now before it goes up further. Next up, guys, we have Chaos Hunter. If you guys do not know what Chaos Hunter does, basically your opponent special summons a monster. You can just special summon this card by discarding a card from your hand. You summon it. While it's on field, its effect is your opponent cannot banish cards, which is really cool. Lowest copy is $1.75 from the structure deck Sacred Beast as a common. Not bad. Artifact Landscape, guys, is a really good Yu-Gi-Oh card that stops both players from banishing cards. Really good in my opinion. If it's in your hand or face up on the field, all you do is tribute it. It's 70 cents from Duelist Alliance as a common. That's not bad. But moving on, we have Raw's Disciple. This is one of the 2 cards I added in this video that can basically just lock your opponent. So what you do is you summon this to your opponent's field, and what it does is your opponent cannot summon monsters. So what they'll end up doing is going ahead and crashing into one of your monsters, so they can go ahead and do something in main phase 2. But again, this card's really cool. I think it's kind of difficult, again, to get rid of it unless it's battle phase. And lowest copy is 10 cents from Legendary Duelist Rage of Ra as a common. I'd highly consider it. Moving on, guys, we have Effect Veiler, always a classic. It can only be activated during your opponent's main phase, but you negate a monster that they control for the rest of that turn. Not bad. You should negate Shangri-La. That stops the lockdowns, right? $1.32 from Structure Deck Albaz Strike as the lowest I could find as a common. That's not bad. A lot of Effect Veilers on the market. Moving on, we have Ghost Mourner and Moonlit Chill. This card is like Infinite Impermanence and Effect Veiler. The only thing that's different is that if that monster that you target leaves the field, your opponent takes damage equal to their original attack. But what they can always do is just leave it on the field so then they don't get the burn. But it's still, again, it's still a negate, which is really good. Lowest copy I could find is 30 cents from the 2022 Tin of the Pharaoh's Gods as a super rare, guys. Not bad. Moving on, we have Imperial Iron Wall. This card just says no. Kashtira, no. Cards cannot be banished. That's it. 14 cents. Tactical Masters, rare, drops mic. But let's go on. We have D Barrier. You declare XYZ, and your opponent goes, okay, well, no XYZ happenings this turn. Probably just do Kashtira Fenrir and their end of the turn. Lowest copy is 22 cents. Structure Deck Albaz Strike as a common. That's not bad if you ask me. Moving on, we have Skill Drain. Pay 1,000 life points, negate everything on the field, all monster effects on the field, and it's $1.95 from Structure Deck Dark World. Pretty recent, a few months ago as a common. Not bad. Skill Drain used to be a lot more expensive back then, okay? We have Goes in Match now. Goes in Match basically says your opponent each player can only control one attribute. So that stops them a lot. Not bad. As a Floodgate, $1 from Structure Deck Soul Burner, which was a long ago structure deck, as a common, okay? Last one we have here is There Can Only Be One, because there can only be one. Each player can only control one of each type. If they control more, then they have to send that from their field to the graveyard when this card's activated. Really good. 18 cents, guys, from Structure Deck Albaz Strike. That's not bad. And now, guys, we have the costly counters. So that's counters that are above $10 and above. First up, we have the Winged Dragon of Ra Spear Mode. Really good Yu-Gi-Oh card. Instead of Lava Golem, where it's 2 monsters, it's 3. But it has like a plain effect after that. There's no burn damage. But good thing it doesn't have 3k like Lava Golem. So your opponent can't try to attack over or anything like that. So honestly, it's a good card, especially against the Kashtira board. And they don't just end with a Rise Heart. They have at least 3 monsters on field, especially since a Rise card can special summon a monster from, I believe it's a standby phase. It's not bad. You'll probably qualify for that 3 summon. Now, only thing is, lowest copy I could find is $14 from Dual Power. As an ultra rare, yeah, this card has not had many reprints. I think Dual Power was his latest reprint, unfortunately. But if you don't want to use this card because it's too expensive, no worries. Lava Golem's good, or any of the Kaijus is really good. And let's go and move on. We have Kurikawa Divine Carnate. This is more of like a tech card because people have been really trying to use this more. What this card does is it can tribute the monsters that your opponent already activated, and when it does that, it gains 1500 per monster tributed. So you can probably go in for some big damage, guys. It's really good. Lowest, unfortunately, is $23. First edition, all prices I put are first edition prices, but you could probably find this for maybe 20, maybe 19 as unlimited, probably. But it's from Power of the Elements as a secret rare. But if you want to use this, it's okay. You can use alternative cards, Lava Golem, Kaijus, or even the Spear mode if you want as a cheaper option. Next, we have Nightmare Corruptor Ably. So just like Ra's Disciple, you give your opponent this, they can't do anything. But with this card, you have to go into a Link Summon. So you have to be careful though. Note that some decks are actually Kashtira players are actually playing at least 1 or 2 Link monsters just in case they get hit with this. So you just want to prepare for that. Lowest copy, again, this only has 2 copies in total. 1 reprint is the $12.50 copy from the Gold Sarcophagus tin in 2019 as a UR. So as an ultra rare, not bad, not bad. Guys, we have Triple Tactics Thrust. The new card that came out of Photon Hypernova. It's $68, but it's a really good Yu-Gi-Oh card because if you're playing a normal spell card, it doesn't have to be a card that I mentioned, but something you need in your deck, you're playing 6 copies of it, and that's pretty good. Basically what it does is if your opponent controls a monster, you play this, and you're able to, first of all, set that card, but if your opponent controls a monster, you can add it to your hand instead, so you can use it, which is really good. Alternative cards, if you don't want to use this, because it's too expensive, is Triple Tactics Talents itself. But moving on, we have Triple Tactic Talents. I think you should play both of these cards, but if you could just play this, that's fine. Lowest copy is $19. Magnificent Mavens. Mama as an ultra rare, not bad. But you know, if your opponent controls activates a monster effect, which they will during your turn, trust me, you can go ahead and activate the second effect, take control of one of their monsters, and basically just stop that whole lockdown. Or if you want to take of the Rise Heart, that's a pretty good card to take too. This card is really good, but there are other alternatives you can use. You can play Brain Control, Mind Control, Change of Heart works too as well. This just has more application if you want to maybe draw 2 cards or look at your opponent's hand and choose a card and shuffle it into the deck. You know, it has more application, but I understand, again, if you can't afford it, because it might actually be going up by the time you watch this video as well. But moving on to the next card, we have Infinite Impermanence. So again, I told you Effect Veiler, Ghost Mortar, Moonlit Chill. If you cannot afford to play this Yu-Gi-Oh card, don't worry, you can play those and they're just as great. So this card is really good because during your opponent's turn, you control no cards, you play from your hand, negate a monster they control. If this card is set, you activate it, that spell and trap card column that you activated in, they play anything in it, or there's a card already they didn't realize, that's negated for the rest of that turn. Really good Yu-Gi-Oh card. It's $9.60. Lowest copy is a super rare from the Cyber Strike structure deck. Really worth it in my opinion to play a 3 of in the deck, or 2 of if you really have no space. But moving on, guys, we have Evenly Matched. I think this is probably one of the best cards on the list. If your deck can main deck Evenly Matched, that's a really good deck in this format. If not, side deck this, because when you hear your opponent go battle phase, end of battle phase, that feeling. But the feeling using it's really good. But yeah, $9.75, trust me, is a really good deal, especially since I remember this card was like $30 lowest copy and it only had like 1 reprint. So you definitely want to, you know, try to get your staples and little at a time. But $9.75, not bad for Magnificent Mavens. Ultra rare copy, I'd probably get it. But guys, that's it for that. Final thoughts though. remember that you should always build your side based on what people or at your locals are playing, right? So if you're playing at locals and they're playing all Kashtira, you should probably heavily side for that with the cards that I suggested. But remember, there's a mix of things. You kind of want to even it out. Now, again, if you're going at a regional, just kind of make it more like variety, like more of like, okay, for this generic stuff, but also maybe a little more on Kashtira, because it is probably going to be the most like highly represented deck. But always remember that prices often fluctuate. So, you know, Evenly Matched might get another reprint. Ring General Spear Mode might get a reprint. So you never know. We are expecting a side set soon. So we'll see what cards gets reprinted in that. But guys, I want to say thank you so much for watching the video. Be sure to subscribe if you enjoyed the conversation. I would really appreciate it. And share with a friend that may want to, know these tips about how to beat Kashtira. Also know that I have an Instagram and TikTok where I also post heavily on. The Instagram community is amazing, and you should definitely be a part of it. Let me know what cards you would use against the deck down below as well. But guys, if you liked the video, make sure to give it a huge like. Comment down below what card you would want to use against that deck. And guys, if you're not subscribed to the channel, what are you doing? Make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you're updated the next time I upload a new video. But guys, hopefully you have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.